A simple question. Have you ever wanted to kill your father and be with your mom? No. That's a hard no for me. So what is the Oedipus and the Electra complex all about? If you were like me, then most of your professors, or even just most of everything you've heard about the Electra complex or the Oedipus complex follows this kind of narrative, which is you begin by hearing the story about Oedipus. Oedipus was a man from Greek mythology who was told by a fortune teller that one day he would kill his father and end up sleeping with his mother. This idea disgusted him, as it should, and so he ran away. He ran away from home and set out and had some adventures. And as his adventures had it, then he actually ended up killing a man and then being with that man's wife. And he was pretty happy until one day he realized that the man he killed was his father, and he had ended up being with his mother. And now this is where the professors come in and talk about how Freud used this to explain that from a shockingly young age, we have this drive within us to kill our father and be with our mother romantically, or for women it's to kill the mother and be with the father. Thus the Electra complex. And now that doesn't sit too well with just about anybody. But why does the theory persist? Well, I had a professor who once explained to me that very thing, but he went further. Most professors don't necessarily go further, at least in my experience. And this isn't their fault, because they were taught this way as well. Now, what my professor at this point taught me is, he told me that story, and then he said, but they haven't read Freud in the original. Now, what that means is that Freud's word for love, at least when he used it in this theory, was Eros. Eros is often and correctly interpreted as erotic love or sexual love or desire. Now, however, Freud does specify in his 1925 paper, Resistance to Psychoanalysis, that he actually intends Eros in his theories to mean more of a Platonic view of love, which is a love shared among two people who are very close but have no need or desire for sexual intercourse. And so now that's fascinating. Many people don't realize this when they're talking about Freud and his theories. Now, so what does that mean? What that means is that when Freud talks about Eros for your mother, it means he's not saying that you want to sleep with your mother. It means that he's saying that you love your mother as someone you have no desire to sleep with, but as someone that you respect and someone that you appreciate, someone who has always loved you and someone who's always taken care of you, someone who makes you feel safe. And so now my question is, why wouldn't you want to marry someone who you love and someone who loves you unconditionally and loves you in spite of your mistakes and helps you be better? Now, why wouldn't you want to marry someone that's like your mother in those ways, in the ways of unconditional love, in the ways of always taking care of you, in the ways of always being there for you when you need somebody, someone who will push you to be better, but also understand your limitations? That's where the Freudian theory takes place and why it still holds true today. Freud was also huge on the subconscious. So my belief about Freud's theory of the Oedipus complex is that as you're out in the world of dating, then you take subconsciously the traits of your mother, not necessarily her physical appearance. I don't think that really holds too much sway. Her personality traits. You take her personality traits, and when you find someone who matches his or her, depending on if you're male or female watching this, someone that matches your same sex, someone who matches your opposite sex parents' personality traits, then they start to feel safe. They start to feel familiar to you, and then you start to love them. I've seen this in my own life. It just so happens that my wife is in a lot of great ways like my mom. And I've noticed that my sister's husband is in a lot of great ways like my dad. And even my brother's wife is in a lot of ways like my mom as well. And I believe too that if you take a closer look at your life and your relationship, or even any close friends and family, you'll see that Freud's theories hold true in a sense that you tend to seek out someone who is like your opposite sex parent. Not because of any romantic feelings for that person, but because the subconscious feelings of safety and love carry through and allow you to feel safe enough with a person to trust them with your whole heart and develop a romantic love for them. And now a quick aside, this isn't always a good thing. There are cases, to my belief, I'm not licensed, obviously, but I do believe that there are cases that people who have a bad upbringing and parents who weren't good to them, they then in turn seek out a partner who is also not good to them. So it's very important that if you were raised in a challenging childhood, if we can just simply call it that, it's important that you're careful with who you choose so you don't end up mirroring your parents' relationship unintentionally. With that, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more like it. And with that, this has been PsyQuick.